I think about vibration a lot. The other day, I had a lot on my plate and I could feel myself slipping into that very familiar mode of simply pushing through, getting through everything. Nothing terrible had happened. I wasn't spiraling. I was just definitely feeling a little bit off, a little bit tired, and farther away from my center than I wanted to be. And so I stopped. I listened to my body. I tuned into my soul. I remembered what I wanted my life to feel like. As I settled into my happy place, the question became clear. What if vibration matters more than almost anything else? And that is what we are going to be talking about today on Infinite You. Welcome, beautiful souls, to Infinite You. I'm Dr. Sheri, and here on Infinite You, I help you move beyond limits, align with who you truly are, and consciously create more of what you want in your life. Abundance, freedom, vitality, meaning, purpose, joy, whatever the heck it is you want more of. Whatever it is you came here to experience. So, before we dive in, if you enjoy deeper conversations about energy, identity, consciously creating more of what you want, go ahead and hit subscribe. And if this video resonates with you, I would love for you to hit like and comment as well. And stay with me until the end because I will share a simple way to begin recognizing the patterns and the vibrations you may be creating from your identity, your subconscious programming, the stories you're telling yourself, and you can unleash all of that and really realign using my quantum identity playbook, and I will share more about that at the end. So let's dive in. When I took a pause just a few days ago, I was just feeling super overwhelmed. I was definitely not trying to avoid my responsibilities, and I was not pretending that the things on my plate did not need my attention. And normally I would definitely just push through. But, I live this, I teach this, I embody this, I'm still human, and sometimes I get into that push through mode. But there is a much better way to realign, regroup, recharge, and reconnect with the essence of who you are. And so I decided to step out of the frequency of just getting through things, of just forcing through, because it's so easy to begin to live in a frequency that is not reflective of our truest or deepest nature. And like I said, I think it's really a part of being human. And so most of us have become accustomed to managing, solving, producing, responding, and taking care of everything around us. And before we realize it, the frequency, the vibration of pressure or urgency or distraction or constant productivity or forcing really does begin to start to feel normal. And you may be functioning pretty well and you may be getting everything done. But honestly, we are no longer experiencing life from the most alive, connected, and intentional part of ourselves when we get in that mode. And that is what became crystal clear to me. I felt disconnected from the bigger picture of my true nature. And I was just done blowing off that feeling. In the middle of the day when everything was going on, I needed to regroup ASAP. And my old self, I think, would have said, push through, wait until after dinner when things slow down. But this version of me said, what happens if you don't push through? So I became still. I allowed my body to rest. I breathed. I tuned into the vibration of God, the vibration of Om, the quantum field, the universe, all that is, whatever language speaks to you. I was reconnecting with a reality larger than my schedule, than this physical space and the immediate circumstances in front of me. I didn't think about it. I just tuned in. I reconnected with my body, my energy, my bigger why, my desires, and who I really am beneath everything that I was managing. And I just allowed myself to be. It was amazing, honestly. It was quite amazing. Much bigger than a meditation. I was definitely in the zone. My energy changed. I felt more balanced. I felt more present, more spacious, more like myself. I wasn't trying to manufacture a better emotion. I was returning to a vibration that felt more like my true nature. It was more than a feeling. It was a state of being. And I think that this distinction matters because vibration, for sure, is bigger than emotion. We are energetic beings and we create our reality through vibration. Everything is energy and a feeling first. And I believe we each have a vibrational set point, a resting vibration that is cohesive with our soul. However, emotions are vibrational too, and they matter to us humans an awful lot because emotions have a frequency and they help us recognize what is moving through us and what frequency we may be inhabiting. And I do have a PDF about the frequency of emotions. I will put the link below in the description box if you're interested in looking at that. The range of our emotions and how each one of them sits at a different frequency if you are not aware of that. So I just want to say this. Emotions guide us. They give us contrast. They can help us pivot into a higher frequency or for sure spiral us downward too. We all know that feeling where we can't even get out of what it is we are feeling and reacting and responding to. And for sure they can confound us if we misinterpret their meaning. So we know the frequency of grief is much lower than the frequency of joy. Overwhelm feels different from peace. It's a frequency. Anger feels different from love. Shame feels different from self-respect. And wonder feels different from worry. But vibration is larger. I want you to really hear this. Vibration is larger than any single emotion or its corresponding frequency. Vibration is the energetic quality of our whole state of being. It includes our presence, our vitality, our openness, our consciousness, our coherence to mind, body, soul, our connection, and the way we are relating to ourselves, to other people, to physical reality, and to the divine. And I think embodiment is really about not compartmentalizing that. Sorry, it's an early morning recording day for me, so I'm a little tongue-tied. So even when you cannot name a strong emotion, you still have a felt sense of your energy. You know when you feel centered. You know when you feel scattered. You know when you feel contracted, expansive, disconnected, spacious, heavy, alive, or magnetic. You can feel when something is flowing through you, and you can feel when you are moving through life without being fully connected to it. That felt sense is information. We are vibrational beings, and our emotions help us interpret that information. Being human means that we are going to experience the entire emotional spectrum: love, joy, hope, excitement, gratitude, awe, but also anger, grief, fear, envy, shame, disappointment, and the pain of feeling unseen, misunderstood, or disrespected. A lot comes from that space. And the goal is not to eliminate certain emotions so we can call ourselves spiritually evolved. The goal is not to force ourselves into a supposedly higher vibration every time something uncomfortable moves through us. that would not be spiritual mastery. That is not conscious. It would really be more emotional avoidance, and our bodies down to a cellular level experience what we feel our bodies know, our cells know. I think I just wrote an email about this. People always say our issues are in our tissues. So think of every emotion as carrying information, and every emotion can guide us toward a greater awareness, a greater sense of self-awareness. So the question is not whether we visit a vibration. The question is what we perceive through it, how we interpret it, and whether we decide to begin living there or just seeing it for what it is, being that conscious observer. An emotion can be a place you visit without it becoming the place you call home. And in the throes of experiencing intense emotions, I think that it matters to become the observer, not when adrenaline is rushing through our bloodstream, but in the first change we can muster to pull back and observe and just ask, what is this about? What am I reacting to? Can I see things differently in this state, right? Anger is a really beautiful example of that. And anger is often labeled as a negative or, much lower vibration. And I think, yes, anger can become destructive. We all know that when it is directed carelessly or allowed to control our behavior. But anger can also be a pivot vibration. That's what I call it, a pivot shifting vibration. Anger can wake you up. Anger can show you that something is not working. It can reveal where a boundary has been crossed, where you have tolerated too much, or where you have moved away from your own truth. Anger can clarify who you are. It can clarify who you are not. It can show you what you want and show you what you no longer want to keep experiencing. Sometimes anger is the moment something inside of you finally says, this does not work for me anymore. This is not who I am. This is not the life I want to continue creating. I am ready to choose differently. So the vibration of anger contains tremendous energy, but how you decide to interpret it or perceive it or direct that energy really matters. And it can keep you attached to a person, an injustice, or an old story, right? It can keep you in that space. Or it can become the energy that helps you establish, like I said, a boundary, reclaim your truth, make a decision, and pivot toward something more aligned. So other emotions can guide us too in the same way. Envy may reveal a desire that has not been acknowledged, or resentment may show that someone has been giving beyond their capacity or repeatedly ignoring their own needs. And fear can alert us into real danger, but it can also reveal the edge of an identity that is ready to expand. Feelings are information. They can reveal a level of self-involvement, a pivot you're ready to make, or a decision to adjust your perception. They do not have to become your identity. You can experience anger without becoming an angry person. You can move through grief without deciding that joy is no longer available to you. You can feel fear without allowing fear to become the architect of your future. I hear people walk around and they say things like, oh, I'm just hangry. Oh, I'm just anxious. Oh, I'm just a worrier. If you are using that kind of language to define who you are and what you identify with, think about making that pivot. The feeling may be real, the information may matter, but it is still possible to listen, to learn, and then choose what you want to create from next, who you want to create from next. Because I believe that we create through feeling as well as thought. For sure we do. It is energetic. It is vibrational. We put things into the field, the quantum field, the field of possibility, all the time. It is not separate from God. God created the quantum field for us to create more of what we want. And so we create through what we repeatedly expect, rehearse, notice, embody, and normalize. We create through our beliefs and our choices, but we also create through the energy behind those beliefs and choices. They are a feeling. And of course, you all know, most of you know, the law of attraction. We create through vibration too. What we feel and embody is not separate from the field in which we participate. So you may understand that field as God or consciousness or the universe or the quantum field or the larger intelligence of life. And you know, the language differs, right? We all have our own belief systems, but most of us know the difference between chasing something from desperation and moving toward it from inner knowing. And you know, when you feel magnetic, you feel connected to yourself and to what you want. You can almost taste the possibility. You can almost taste the possibility. You may not know exactly how it will happen, but something within you recognizes it. You can see it, you can feel it, you can become available for it, and that feeling matters. I believe it becomes part of what you are communicating into the field and part of what you are able to notice, to choose, to allow, to receive. This does not mean, of course, that vibration replaces action. It just changes the place, the identity, the belief system, the story you are telling yourself. It changes the place from where action rises. There's a difference between taking action because you are terrified that nothing will work, or taking action because you are alive with possibility, with the idea that you are a powerful co-creator of your reality. There's a difference between creating because you need to prove your worth and creating because something meaningful wants to move through you. There's a difference between chasing a desire from lack and becoming so aligned with it that your thoughts, your body, your identity, and your choices begin moving in the same direction. So I invite you to create a frequency so magnetic that your desires start chasing you. The seemingly passive energetic work of tuning in and aligning is powerful because you are no longer working against yourself. It is not a mental process. It is a feeling process. It is an energetic process about tuning in, of alignment, of conscious creation. You are connected to what you want in this space. You are connected to who you are becoming in this space. And you are available to recognize and receive what supports that reality. So we all know we are human on this beautiful, amazing playground called Earth, and life will still happen. We will still feel everything, but not every emotion has to become our home. Not every thought deserves our belief. Not every reaction deserves our life force. And not every circumstance deserves authority over our identity or future. I want you to really hear that. Not every circumstance deserves authority over your identity or your future. You get to decide who you are above, beyond, connected to all that is, of what it is you want to create this time around. And so the other day when I stopped, I didn't abandon my physical life. I became more present inside of it. I brought my body back into balance. I reconnected with who I am, what I desire, and what I want my life to look and feel like. And that is perhaps why vibration matters so much. It is part of how we experience ourselves, how we perceive reality, how we relate to other people, how we connect to the divine, how we create what comes next, and how we become available to receive it. So, Ask yourself today, what frequency have I been living in? Does it feel like my true nature? What if my body, my soul, and my emotional experience are trying to show me something? Right? Listen to your body. Listen to your emotions. Listen to your higher mind, right? Listen to the energetic field around you. And so ask yourself all of those questions. What are they trying to show me? And what would help me return to the most alive, connected, and intentional part of myself? Because you are not here to merely manage the life in front of you. You are here to become conscious of the energy, the identity, the expectations, the choices through which you created. And maybe vibration matters most. Not because you must feel wonderful in every moment, but because the energy you return to becomes the atmosphere in which your life unfolds. I really want you to hear that. It's that resting, beautiful, vibrational set point that we all have. So when you nurture your energy, you become more open to the possibility, to serendipity, creating more resilience within, understanding yourself in the bigger picture, how to navigate your emotions, and how you can return to that energy because it becomes part of who you are and what you identify with. And so, if this conversation resonated with you, I would love for you to hit subscribe, hit like, and comment. Where do you live? Where do you spend? What emotions do you spend most of your time in? And are they a tool for you? Or are they kind of controlling, parts of your life that you'd like to shift? And so if this conversation helped you recognize the energy you've been living and creating from, my Quantum Identity Playbook will help you take the next step. It will help you see the loop, understand the pattern, and consciously make the pivot toward the identity and reality you truly want to create, what you know is meant for you. And you can find it through the link below. And if you want more of these deeper conversations about energy, identity, consciousness, psychology, science, and creating, and mindset too, of course, and creating a life that feels fully more like you, more like your own, join me in my free newsletter. I will put the link for that below. And I would love for you to hit subscribe. I will see you all next time in the next video, and have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you catch this video. I will see you all next time, amazing souls. Namaste.